Hey guys, thank you for tuning in today. So today we're going to be doing a low fade. And how we're going to start that off, we're going to start laying down all the hair in this place. You always got to make sure it's in this place or else you won't have a clean cut. You always want to have the hair laid down so you can have a nice crispy cut. Here I'm going to go in with my gamma hitters, start setting in my ball guideline. You always want to be consistent with it and always want to make it neat as possible so you have a nice clean cut. Now you're going to see me taking off the bulk. You don't have to do it this way, but this is the way I do it. It's just because the gamma hitters, they're pretty light and you could put them in any angle. Here I'm going in with my BABYLISS FX Robbed Original trimmers, making sure everything's clean, and you gotta make sure all the little hairs are gone so you could go in after with your shavers. But then here you see me setting in my first guideline with the lever open. You always want to flick out. Make sure you flick out or else you're going to set it in a harsh guideline. And then coming towards the back, you want to push it up a little bit higher just because the hairs in the back are usually a little bit darker. Now you'll see me going in with my shavers. Make sure you use the back and you always want to flick out. If you don't flick out, you're going to set it in a harsh guideline. It's going to be hard to take out. You can usually take it out with your trimmers, but if you press hard enough, you won't be able to unless you fade it out with your foil shavers. You see me going back and fixing my guideline. Now we're going to get the number 1 guard, lever open, and you're going to set your second guideline. Make sure you're always consistent and flick out or else you're going to set in a harsh guideline. And then throughout the video you'll see me brushing down the hair. You always got to make sure you brush down the hair so all the little hairs could go back in place. Now you see me going with my 1.5 guard. You always gotta be consistent and always flick out. Here I'll show you guys a clip of me flicking out in slow-mo, just so you guys can see an example when you approach the bulk. After you go all around the head, you go in with your number 2 guard. And always flick out. You'll see me flicking out. And always make sure your clients are dust off or else they're going to be itching. Once you're done, if you see any extra bulk, you can always go in and do clip over comb. You always got to detail your work. And also by using clipper over comb, it sets a shape in for your haircut. After I went in and clipped it over comb, I still felt like I seen more bulk, so I went and did some shear work. Once I'm done doing some shear work, I'm gonna go with my number 1 guard and use my corners on the 1.5 guideline that I had set. Using your corners helps you make your fade more blurry and get all the dark spots out of the fade. So in this process, I'm basically fading down. So then after you use your corners, after you do your detail work, you see me close my lever and get rid of my number 1 guideline. Here you see me showing you the line and showing you how to flick out. Make sure you always do some lever play. You never always want to stay in one spot. You always want to mess with your lever so you could fix your fade. And remember, always use your corner. You will always see me use my corners throughout this video. And like I said, you'll always see me brush the hair down after this video. And right here you see me going in my 1.5 guard, trying to take out that bulk right there. Always using my corners and always flicking out. Now you see me going in with my number 2 guard, using my corners and also flicking out, getting the bulk more loose and making more like a fade, more blurry. Here you see me going in with some more shear work. You can never go wrong with some detail work. Detail work is what makes your cuts even more better and pop out even more. If you're not taking your time, then I'm sorry, you're not going to be able to come out with a consistent fade. You always got to take your time and use your corners and flick out. Here I'm going in with my half guard and you see me show you how to flick out. And I'm flicking out that number 1 guard so it could be more blurry. And then right here you'll see me go in with my shears, doing some more shear work, taking out some dark spots in the bulk. It will always make your fade look more blurry and it will always make it pop out. So right here, this is where I start my design. When you want to do your designs, you always want to use your corner. The corner will always get you into tight spaces, and if you have gamma hitters, it will really help you go in any angle or even put your trimmer upside down. I mean, you don't have to, you could do it with any other trimmer, but the gamma hitters are they're light enough to do anything with them. You always want to use your corners and brush down the hair and take your time. You never want to mess up or set any bald spots around the design. And sometimes how I see the machine is just like a pencil. If you know how to draw, then it'll be pretty easy. You just gotta get a good grip of the machine and try your best, like, honestly. Then right here you see me going in, putting some more detail work in. You can never go wrong with some detail work, like I say. Detail work is what makes everything pop and, you know, have a nice, clean, consistent cut. And like I said, in order to do swirls like this, you gotta use them corners. You always gotta use them corners. If you don't go in with some shave gel and put some shave gel on there and you go in straight with the blade, you're gonna end up cutting your client. Once you go in with the blade, you want to stretch out the client's skin. If you don't stretch out the client's skin, then you're most likely gonna cut them, and you don't want that to happen. And also, every time you want to do a design, you always gotta razor it. If you don't razor it, it's not gonna be looking good. It's gonna be looking like cricket little design that you barely tried doing or something. But as you see me going around a little swirl, putting some more detail in. You always gotta be careful in those little circle type designs. If not, if you don't know how to use your corners or use the blade yet, then you're gonna cut the client, because it's pretty hard. But once you get the hang of it, you know what to do. You always gotta try to learn how to use your corners and try not to cut them. Right here you can see me putting some more detail work on top of the design. Then after, you'll see me go in with my fast feeds with the lever closed. Make sure you flick out. We're going to be getting rid of the bald guideline. If you don't flick out, then you're just going to keep pushing up the guideline. And also make sure you always lever play. If you don't play with your levers, then it's just going to look like a straight sloppy bald guideline. You always want to make it look like a nice clean fade. And like I said, always use your corners. You always got to use your corners and flick out. If you don't use your corners and flick out, then your fade won't come out as neat. But if you want a really nice blurry fade, you use your corners and flick out. And then you can never go wrong with some detail work. I came in with my gamma hitters and did some more detail work on the ball guideline. Now you see me coming back with my fast feeds and continuing the line. Now we're gonna hop onto the other side and then work our way back. As you can see, you see me finishing up from the back. It's all nice and clean. And then after, you're just gonna wanna go around your cut and see if there's anything you missed. Here's the design. It came out pretty nice. I liked how it came out. Right here, I'm gonna be going back in and with my half guard and put some more detail work into my fade. Then right here you'll see me switch out guards, but first I'm using my corners on my half guard. Then I'll switch out guards to my number 1. And as you can see, my little brother feeling himself. But here I go in with my corners and just start putting some more detail work in. And that's how the fade came out. Then after, I'm gonna come in with my gamma hitters and start lining up a C cup. You always gotta be careful and make sure you don't push them back. Now we're gonna move on to the other side, do the same thing. Then throw some more detail work with my gamma hitters on that ball guy line. You always gotta brush down before you hit up his hairline. You can always put some hairspray, but in this case I didn't, just because his hair is like kind of thin, it just stays in place. You always gotta take your time so it can come out real nice and clean. It's better to take 5 minutes on the hairline or edge up than 1 minute. Then here you see me going on to the other side, making sure everything's nice and clean, nice and sharp on each corners. Then right here you see me lining up his boxes. You make sure you do not push him back. You never want to push back any client, because then later on, once his hair starts growing, it's going to be coming out all ugly and nasty. Never push no one back. Here, putting some more detail work. Give you guys a spin real quick of the cut, show you guys the design. Hope you guys liked the cut, and if you guys learned something or seen something new, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Deuces.
I get that re-up, hit my plug and go and buy it all. Popping perks like they had it all. Enough bricks in this trap to make a China wall.